We've finally reached the last girl of the main four, and it's one that I walked into with very little in mind, but I personally think got one of the best executions. Today we will be redesigning Parsley, renamed to Pepper, from High Guardian Spice, and I'll be talking about my plans for her in my upcoming High Guardian rewrite. Don't have anything to say for an intro, so let's get straight into it. Let's go over her original design real quick, like always. Before I talk about my design and explain my thought process behind some immediate obvious changes, if we look at this character without knowing much about her, this design really isn't bad. She has a cute appeal, the clothes aren't overdone, but she somehow doesn't give off background character energy like Time did. Though, once we start learning more about her, holes start to get poked into this design. Her whole thing is being a blacksmith. She goes to school for it, she's always doing it, and she talks about it a lot. But her design is anything but blacksmith. The biggest issue with me is how much skin she has free when she's cannonly around fire and really hot metal for a majority of her time. I know nothing about blacksmithing, but even I know that that's really not a go-to outfit for the activity. Maybe if she had two main outfits and this one was for when she was away from the fires, then I think would work. Though honestly, that's my only real problem with the design. You'll see in a moment here that I become a hypocrite and do the exact same thing, but you've got to hear me out. There's a reason for my decisions. But before I do explain said decisions, I'll get the elephant, or please pardon my very bad pun, deer, out of the room first. I decided to turn Parsley into a fawn, mainly due to the fact that all fantasy blacksmiths are dwarves. I may not go into this kind of fantasy that much, but I still haven't seen one blacksmith character that wasn't a dwarf in any kind of media. I will be writing an original dwarf family into the story that will play a major role in her arc, but as for her and her family, they will all be fawns. I'll get this part out of the way real quick and say that while I was drawing, I had more of a goat hybrid in mind, so that's why she has goat-like pupils, and in my head she kept switching from a goat to a deer, finally landing on deer, but I forgot about the eyes. Though I really don't want to change them, I really like how it looks, and if people ask, maybe I'll just say that she has a little goat hybrid blood in her family. Because in a world like this, we all know that crossbreeding happens all the time. Okay, now I'll share why I had a problem with how much skin she was showing, but then turn around and did the exact same thing with mine. First, even though I criticized it, I do really love the style of the outfit she has. I just think it fits really well with her personality. With mine, I did do the same thing, but made sure to add some scars and burns, showing why this really isn't the best idea for her profession. My Parsley still wears these types of clothes because she's proud of the marks and wants to show them off a bit. Plus, she's gotten so good at her craft that she hardly gets them anymore, though she still has newer injuries along with the old ones to show that even though she is very skilled, she still has a lot more to learn. That's the reason for her short shirt, but what about her pants? I was going to give her longer pants, but long pants on deer legs look weird, at least to me. So we got an outfit that's a lot closer to the original than intended. With other parts of the outfit, I redid her gloves to make them look sturdier. I might have it to where she has a second pair of gloves that look exactly like these, but with full fingers for when she works. But for now, this is fine. I wanted to keep her design fairly simple, though I might have gone one or two accessories overboard. The main one being her apron, that she cannonly wears all the time. I feel like there should be more that I should say about her character design, but honestly, I'm kind of done with it already. Out of the four, she's the closest to her original design, and I feel like there's not much more I can say about it here without rambling. Now, this would be the part where I designed the school uniform for the blacksmiths, but if you've seen my last video, you might know that my computer has physically broken beyond repair in a way that allows me to use it as a normal computer still, but doesn't allow me to use my art tablet on it anymore. That's why my last character was unshaded, and why Parsley will be unshaded today too. I do have a workaround in place now. I'll be doing all my art on my brother's old computer, that used to be my mom's old computer, so I'm making it work. But since I usually draw the uniform over the body of the character who's in the redesign, I can't really do it today. But luckily there isn't anything too new to see anyways. It's pretty much the same as the warrior uniform, except they wear school blacksmithing aprons so the teachers know which student is in which track. Now with the boring explanation out of the way, it's time to talk about the character herself and what she'll look like in the rewrite. Parsley was pretty easy to rewrite because she has no character in the show. They present her as the older sister of the group who almost never gets angry and is always supportive, which is a nice character type to have, but they barely ever use her. I mean, sure, she's in a lot of scenes in the show, but that's really it. She's just there, witnessing all the tomfuckery that's going around and dropping in a few lines of dialogue when needed. She does have one episode all to herself, but that doesn't feel right either. For how much the creator of the show talked about standing out and doing things other shows weren't, this show really is just one massive stereotype. The main obstacle in her arc, that mind you only lasts one episode, is that she has like 10 little brothers, with the only girl being a day-old baby, and her parents want her to come back home to help them out once more, thinking that her wanting to go to school was just a phase. She doesn't want to be just the help and wants to make something of herself, even if that means disappointing her family. It's resolved quickly though, with the mom at least understanding that Parsley is her own woman and they can't keep her there forever, and Parsley realizes that she needs to cherish her family while keeping healthy boundaries, saying that she'll help out more on weekends, making everyone happy. It really does sound like a sweet little character arc, but one, it feels overused, and two, they just did it really badly. And don't think I didn't notice the writers of the show trying to stealthily put down women being in more traditional wife roles, and how they made the mom the understanding one, pushing the dad, aka the man, out of the happy resolution. I mean, why would somebody fight so hard to not get seen as lesser or weird for having a certain lifestyle, but then put down people with a certain lifestyle? It actually makes no sense, but let's switch back to the character before things get too political. In my storyline, I want her base personality to be the same, but the arc to be completely different. I thought that her main story arc should still surround her family, but differently. In the rewrite, Pepper's family aren't the only blacksmiths in town. There's another family that runs a shop too, and for Pepper's family, this other family has been their rivals for generations. This other family is a dwarf family, and since dwarves are known for great blacksmithing talent, they get customers much easier, causing Pepper's family to work extra hard to keep up. It's because of this rivalry that Pepper goes to the academy. Pepper herself didn't really want to go, but her parents pushed her to it because they wanted her to be better than the dwarf's family kid, Parnell, who also goes to the school. At school, Pepper expects a classroom rivalry with Parnell, but finds that he's actually really nice and friendly and seems to want to be Pepper's friend. Pepper tries to avoid him though because she knows that her family wouldn't want her hanging out with him, but Parnell always is coming up to her, and she doesn't want to be blatantly rude about pushing him away. As the story goes on, she learns that Parnell's family doesn't see her family the same ways as hers does his, and that his family actually has a lot of respect for hers. This leads to Pepper needing to choose between sticking to her family and their beliefs about others or cutting away needless pettiness and making a new good friend. I think this idea keeps the heart of the original and pushes it further. I don't remember seeing anything personally like this in other media, so I think we're safe on it being more original. Also, you might be wondering who Parnell is, and they are actually a smaller character in the show who is a smaller friend of Parsley's. I have also learned from the High Guardian Wiki that he's only 10 years old and is a child prodigy, explaining why he's in the school. For reference, most students go to the school when they are around 13 to 14. Maybe if we got another season, we would see more of Parnell, but we're going to see a lot more of him in the first season of my story at least. I guess that my Pepper might have the same problem as the show's Parsley, because this one character arc is the only thing I have planned for her. Though it does span over the entire first season and not a single episode, so I'm sure I'll have a better idea on what to do with her in the second season. Maybe season 1 can be her accepting Parnell as her friend, and season 2 can be perhaps her family finding out and now her needing to deal with them. That's an idea I literally just made up on the spot, so it could happen, could not. I think that's all on the character portion of this video, so before it ends, there is only one more thing that I want to talk about, which is how the blacksmithing track works in the academy. In the show, the academy has 3 tracks that kids can go to become guardians: warriors, mages, and blacksmiths. Guess the one that stands out. Blacksmithing seems like a really random thing to add, and it also really doesn't make sense. In the show, Parsley says she wants to go to school to learn more blacksmithing, but she also takes classes on fighting and stuff. Does she want to be a guardian, or is she only here for the blacksmithing and takes the other classes to stay in the school? And if that's the case, are there no blacksmithing schools, like anywhere that she can go to? And why would she need to go to school anyways? It's blatant in the show that she's already practically a master at her craft. She was sent up to the 3rd year classes on her first day, for heaven's sake. So besides her wanting to get away from her family, what's the point of her being there? Hell, she could have just moved out and started her own smithing business if being her own woman was what she wanted. There's no point of her being there other than she needs to for plot. So I fixed it. In the universe of my High Guardian Spice, there are plenty of places that you can go to learn blacksmithing, but only at High Guardian Academy can you learn how to craft tools and weapons infused with magical powers along with terraspheres themselves. Pepper isn't going to school to learn how to be a guardian, though she will be trained in the basics in case her help is really needed in the field. She is going to the school to learn how to be a guardian crafter. Guardian crafters are the only people who can legally create magical weapons and terraspheres. She might know all there is to know about normal smithing, but infusing magic and spells into her work is a whole new field, something that Parnell seems to be incredibly gifted at, bringing even more family pressure over Pepper's head. But what do you think about these changes, and do you have any ideas on what else I can do with her character? Any and all ideas are welcome to share, but for now, it looks like we are finally done with designing the 4 main characters of the rewrite.
We escaped the dungeon, we found our way out of that bizarro broom closet, we solved a dozen riddles for the grog mob, saved a hornet's marriage, climbed walls, climbed between walls, but we still haven't found our way out. Professor Phlox is going to think I'm a real dunce.
Now that's all left to do is to get through a few side characters, and then we'll be getting on to the official stuff very soon. So tell me who you want to see next. I was thinking about redesigning Lavender next, but if there's a specific character that you want to see, drop the name down in the comments and we'll get on to it. But for now, have a good night and God bless.